Hey guys, this is undercoverdudes all the way from Down Under, and today we're going to be looking at the new user interface for combat arms. Let's go and start out with the main screen, and there is a lot of elements, so we'll break it down bit by bit. The main thing about this update is getting into game, and how much quicker it is. This is done via the match button. You press that and then you get taken to the matchmaking screen. From there, it's quite a simple process. You click the mode, then you click the map pool, and then you hit play. From there, you're taken to the matchmaking finding screen, and you'll eventually be put into a game. It has to go and match you up with people with similar skill and whatnot, but after that, you get right into the game. This screenshot shows only one play in the queue, but Nexon has gone and said that you'll be able to group up with your friends as well, which is really good. They haven't, however, said how many people you'll be able to group up with, like a maximum amount of players you'll be able to group up with. If you could go and get 8v8 matchmaking, that would be really cool, but they haven't said any numbers. They've only said that you'll be able to go and group up with your friends in the future. Now let's go and take a step back to this screenshot. On this screenshot, the only available modes are Elimination, One Man Army, and Elimination Pro in that order. Now, this is an in-development build, so I'm sure that other modes like Fireteam, Quarantine Region, S&D, etc. will have matchmaking queues as well. What I really want to stress is that this build is in development. It says in the bottom right hand corner, not the final version, and to put it in comparison, this build is basically identical to what I played with in hashtag #MakeCA user meeting. When I went and hopped around with the new UI, this was basically it. So with all of that said, the progress they've made in the last couple months is probably going to be very considerable. They just wanted to go and showcase a working build. Now let's go back to the previous screenshot, and as you can see, the map pool system is like Counter-Strike Global Offensive, the top 5 being the top 5 most popular maps, with any other pools being less popular maps. And the really good thing about this is Nexon could go and swap in and out maps, so people can go and try them out. For example, a new map release, you can go and put it in one of the pools. People can go and try it out. If people don't like it, you can go and put it to the other pool. But if people like it, you can go and put it in the more popular pool, and you can go and swap in and out. And that's what Valve does with Counter-Strike Global Offensive. I am making a lot of comparisons to Counter-Strike Global Offensive and Valve, but it makes sense. It's one of the most popular first-person shooters of all time, so why not go and take the really successful elements, not just straight copy them, but make it work for combat arms. The gameplay, of course, is going to be completely separate for the game, but the user interface and getting into game and all those type of systems, the structure around the gameplay is really important as well. If you give it a really fundamental basis, like what Nexon's trying to go and do with this update, I think it is a really good thing. But that doesn't mean I like everything about this update. There is quite a few things that I really dislike. The first thing I want to go and touch on is at the top of the window, we have a very small custom button. And that custom button means custom lobbies. Now, yes, custom lobbies are still going to be available in combat arms, but the main emphasis is on matchmaking. And that's completely fine. Nexon wants to go and streamline getting into game, but having this option available is important. But make it big enough that people can actually go and find it. It is extremely small. Now, a good way to go and circumnavigate this to make it really easy for people to make their own custom lobbies if they want is you press the play button and make the main screen, of course, matchmaking, but at the top have 2 tabs, matchmaking, and then have one that's like custom lobby or something. And if you press the custom lobby tab, you just get swapped over to, let's say, another tab, and it has all the rooms and whatnot that people can go and make their own lobbies. That would be a really easy thing to go and implement, and it means that if people want to go and play combat arms like they're playing right now, they have the opportunity to. Right now, it is very difficult for people to go and find how to make their own custom lobbies. Now let's go back another step to the main menu, and there is a lot to go and point out. On the right hand side, we have the Loadout System, which shows what you have currently equipped. Now, the standard and limited buttons, that means you can go and swap between your normal loadout and your PCM loadout, and I'll talk about PCM later. Now, I talked to Nexon about this, and they said that there will be some time down the line, I don't know if it's going to be in the full update or sometime in the future, whatnot, But there is going to be custom loadouts. So you have loadout 1, loadout 2, loadout 3, and you can probably rename them like Elimination Pro, Elimination, One Man Army, Quarantine Region setup. And you can go and change it however you like. So you can have different setups on the fly. So you don't have to go to your equipment and change out all your weapons if you want to go and play a different mode. And that is so good. A really good implementation, if I do say so myself. Now, on the left-hand side, we have got the Popout Bar. Now, from what you guys can see from this screenshot, we have got icons for home, play, equipment, shop, mailbox, and settings. Now, the thing with this bar is that it's completely customizable. What happens is when you go and click the menu, it will go and pop out, and it will show every single menu that you can access in the user interface. There is home, casual match, competitive match, solo match, equipment, shop, mailbox, clan, and options. Now the ones with the stars, you can go and toggle on and off, so you can really go and customize your toolbar. For example, I am not a clan player. I haven't been in the clan for many years. I don't want a clan icon on my toolbar, so I can go and just deselect the star there, and then it won't be on my little toolbar. And it's a small thing, but it goes and simplifies combat arms, and I think that's overall the gist of what Nexon is going for with this update. Make it really simplified, make it really easy to go and get in game, and I think they've accomplished that very well. Now let's go to the equipment, and it's the same old. There is a bit of optimization, but equipment in Combat Arms is weird because it's more like an MMORPG than an actual FPS. So going and simplifying it isn't as simple as going like create a class in Call of Duty, for example. There is a new filter system, and it worked okay when I used it, but it definitely needed a bit of optimization. You can go and choose the weapon class, weapons that have attachments, weapons that have certain grades and whatnot, and it looks a lot better than what we have right now. The search bar is still here, however, there is predictive text now, and again, it's a small thing like, the sidebar and whatnot, but these little small things add up, and if I just want to go and type in TAN and then I press enter, and it pops up Tango 51, it's a small thing, but the small things really matter when you're trying to go and quickly move around and equip your weapons and then get into game. So yeah, good job Nexon on that point. Now, going to the shop, it's going back to the old Combat Arms shop system where it was pictures, you'd go and click on buy, and then you could go and buy it, and it wasn't just text, there was actual really big pictures that you could go and see what you're actually buying beforehand. And what Nexon's trying to go and do with this is combine GP and NX together. And with that, my initial worry was, okay, everything's just going to be convoluted. There's so many guns in Combat Arms, how are they going to do it? But they're putting a really big emphasis on the filter system. However, the filter button, in my opinion, isn't big enough. It isn't really there enough for people to go and realize it. And I think a lot of people simply just go and scroll down and try to find their weapon instead of utilizing the search and the filter system. But regardless, they're going back to an older system, but with a new touch to it, a new angle. And I think, if people can go and get around it, people can go and realize how it works, it will go and work better than what we have right now, which is a ton of submenus. And personally, I don't really like that. Old Combat Arms players like me, I've gotten used to it. I know how to quickly go and equip weapons and find weapons, but a new player, for example, my new friends, they've got absolutely no idea how to go and do it. So this new system is a good one. Now with the mailbox, it's a little bit weird. Let me go and explain. It's basically where you go and get your event rewards. When you go and buy something in the store, it will not go to your inbox. If it's a GP, it will automatically activate like it is right now. However, if it's NX, it will be stored in your equipment in a box where you can open it later on. Now saying that, people can be worrying, okay, what about inventory cap and, inbox and whatnot? Well, right now, if you guys don't know, inventory cap is at 250, and inbox cap is unlimited. You can have unlimited things in your inbox. But the thing is, it's still going to be separate, but it's going to be in the same place. And it sounds confusing, but basically, if you have a weapon and it's activated for permanent or 7 days or whatever, that goes towards your inventory cap. But if it's something that's in a case, then it goes towards your inbox, and therefore you can have as many boxes as you like. Now, with all of that said, let's get to the major details. 1. The aspect ratio has finally been fixed. I can confirm, I was there, I played on it, it works on 16:9 monitors. Woo! Good job, Nexon. Now we don't have a stretched lobby, now it doesn't look like AIDS. A good step. A step that should have been made many years ago, but it's there. Good job, Nexon. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be talking about matchmaking, and I'll talk more about that when the next interview is released. But basically, when a game ends, you can go and vote for the next map. There is a short delay, and the most popular map, the map with the most votes, you'll go and get put into. Again, like Counter-Strike Global Offensive. It's a tried and true system, and I don't blame Nexon for basically going and copying it because it makes sense. If enough people leave, you'll then be put back into the queue, and then you eventually go and join another match. It's pretty stock standard, but it works. The thing is that a lot of people left Combat Arms for Counter-Strike Global Offensive, so implementing a system around Combat Arms that is similar to Counter-Strike Global Offensive, but then having the gameplay that everybody really likes, I think it's a good way to try to go and get people back from Valve's Counter-Strike Global Offensive. If it works, however, we won't know until the actual update is released. Next thing is absolutely massive. There is different types of matchmaking. The first one is casual matchmaking, which is the very big emphasis. Hence the big button, it's right in your face. You press it, you click the mode, you click the map pool, and then you get right in game. However, with that, there is no restrictions. Everything is okay to go and use. You play some games, and then eventually Nexon will go and work out who you should be playing against. There is no visible matchmaking rating, just a very light internal one to go and nudge you towards plays of similar skill, and I really like that. Because if you're just losing game after game trying to tank your internal matchmaking rating, then eventually when you try to go in versus lower ranked people, the system will be like, okay, you're obviously smurfing, you obviously tanked, and then obviously it will just go and push you up to where you're supposed to be. So that is a really good thing. Now, the second type of matchmaking is solo matchmaking, and that sounds a little bit weird, but that's what they've gone and classified it under. It's basically the single player mode, and you versus AI. Now, on top of that, there is a new shooting range, and this is cool because supposedly you can go and test guns before you go and buy them. We didn't go and see it in the shop, but I think that would be a really cool thing. You just be in a very small area. You could go and test out the gun, shoot some cardboard cutouts, test out the recoil, test out the fire rate, and if you really like, you can go and buy it. Obviously, it's going to be very different for you shooting cardboard cutouts than it is playing in-game, but at least you have a little bit of a feel of the weapon before you go and buy it. And that's what Nexon's gone and said, so there we go. Hopefully, it will be implemented soon. Now, with this said, the new shooting range, it doubles up as the new tutorial map. The new tutorial map, when I played it, it wasn't really the best. It was very rough around the edges, but again, it probably wasn't the biggest priority at the time. So hopefully when we go and play around with it, it will go and be a lot better. At that point, it just really goes and showed you how to shoot, how to do this, how to do that. But it was very linear and honestly wasn't the most inspiring tutorial I've ever gone and played in my life. Now, the last thing I want to go and talk about is by far the most exciting for me. The fact that Nexon has gone and implementing a competitive matchmaking queue. They have said barely nothing about it, but what they've gone and said is that it's separate from the normal casual queue. It's not hidden, but it's off the track, so people won't be able to go and find it if they're a really new player and they just want to go and get in the game, which is fantastic. It's based off PSM. So there is some major restrictions. Now, PSM, is it perfect? No, there is quite a lot of flaws with PSM, but overall, it's definitely a restriction that I can get behind, and with a few tweaks, it will be really good. But from that, they have said barely anything else. Is there going to be a ladder system? Is there going to be visible matchmaking rating? Who knows? I hope there will be. I hope there's going to be leagues. I hope there's going to be all this different type of stuff to really go and push Combat Arms in a competitive direction. I hope that there is ESL integration. I hope there's competitive, esports and whatnot, because I think that's something that Combadums can go to, because so few free-to-play games can go down that direction, and I don't think there's any free-to-play first-person shooters that really go down the esports direction that I personally know of. I think that Nexon can really go and push Combadums down that direction and really lead the way, because CA, if a lot of the bugs are fixed with the game, it can definitely be a competitive shooter, but it really does need to go and have a lot of work done to it before that. But regardless, I am really, really excited, and I think that really covers everything about the new user interface. And I'm excited to go and try it out. I'm really excited to go and try out the full version. There is obviously, as I said before, a ton of stuff that really needs to be worked on, but I think that it's looking okay at the moment, though the custom match lobby thing I think is a big priority that really needs to be fixed before it finally gets released. Now, I know people have been asking me, UCD, when is it going to be released? Well, I don't exactly know, but it's in Q4, so that means November or December. It's October the 30th recording this, so Nexon's got November or December to go and release this, and I think it will be definitely during one of those 2 months. But other than that, it's Undercover Dudes all the way from Down Under.